2020 Subaru WRX video.
Bug on you.
A bug on you. Get out of here.
Okay guys, first look at the 2020 WRX. So this is, I guess you could say, the second generation of the 2015 through 2020, because in 2018 they did a facelift on the front end, and I personally think it looks a lot better. As far as the options go on this car, you get the STI short shifter, the mirror compass with HomeLink, the weatherproof floor mats, and the cargo tray, which is also just part of the weatherproof package. And yeah, Subaru is also always very, very great with their warranties. And yeah, you can just read that. I'm not going to read it again. One thing that I thought was hilarious is you see the fuel economy there, it's a 5, and then you go down to the smog rating and it's a 1. Sun's like right in my face. Okay, so just for reference, this is a totally bone stock car. The only thing that's done to it is it does have a MagnaFlow axle back muffler delete. Besides that, everything is totally original OEM and how the car came. Right here on the back, you got this little plastic diffuser. It looks kind of cool. It's kind of a soft plastic. There are a lot of rock chips on the underside of it. One cool thing though, I really wish they would just come with it, but I'm pretty sure it's because of safety standards that they can't manufacture like this, but it comes with this little insert here that actually just pops out for you to be able to directly pop in a third brake light, which I think is really cool. As far as the options go for the exterior, there isn't really much besides nitro-filled tires, which, you know, helps them fluctuate with heat. The WRX badges right here are tinted black now, and I think it's a nice looking touch. All the way down the line, they've always had this little spat here, which gives it a nice side profile, which I've always thought looked really good. One other thing that I absolutely love about this car though, is the exhaust, completely stock, pops, and with a muffler delete, it comes to life. It is explosive, and it is pretty damn loud, and yeah. So this generation actually does come with heated mirrors, which I think is really cool. Opposed to the STI, this does come with a low-profile spoiler, which is better than nothing, but, you know, you definitely want the STI spoiler. So this is the FA20 DIT. That is direct injected turbo, I'm pretty sure. I just, like, that's what I'd assume it means. Don't quote me on that. So with bolt-ons and a tune on this motor, and then the same mods done on an STI, it's gonna be a pretty close match. Obviously the STI has limited slips and the adjustable center differential and Brembo brakes and yada yada yada, don't get me started, but I mean, for almost $20,000 less, it's pretty good. So another difference on these motors as opposed to the EJs is it does come with a smaller turbo. However, it is twin scroll, so this car spools insanely quickly and it can hold quite a bit of boost. Stock number right now, on this car at least, I've peaked at 22.6, and yeah, it's great. So as far as complaints go on this car, I've been daily driving it for about 6 months now. It has almost 7,000 miles on it. And one big thing that bothers me is these wheels are ugly. They only come on the base models. You know, if you get a premium, you get the nicer wheels, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. But the base model wheels are ugly. Just get rid of them, please. So the premium and limited models come with turn signal mirrors. The base model doesn't. Is it something that's going to cost that much more to manufacture and put on the base model? No. Are they going to do it? Probably not. Okay, so this is my biggest complaint, because I had a 2014 before this and it didn't have this problem, but the new ones do. So there is no trunk release on the trunk. What you need to do is you need to use this button right here and hold it down to get the trunk open. Okay, not a big deal. But let's say that your keys are in the ignition. Okay, so let's say in a hypothetical situation, your keys are in here and you're like, oh wait, I wanna go grab something out of the trunk. So you get out of your car, you close your door, and you come over and you're like, oh wait, I don't have a trunk release and my keys in the car. So the only other way to open it, you have to come around, come back, and then you need to come down and hold and press this button right here, and then close your door again, and then walk back to your trunk and open it, or get your key out of the ignition. Like, why? Why would you do that? The trunk release was fine where it was. And look, if you come up over here, they even have a little mark for where it should be, but it isn't. Come on, Subaru. So the older base models had cloth inserts here, and then even older than that, they didn't have the red stitching. So I think that that's a really cool touch that they did with updating the interior. And it was for either 2019 or 2020, but they all come standard with Apple CarPlay now. So coming up to the gauge cluster, you have your tach, your multifunction display in the middle there, and you also have your speedometer. So the little box in the middle there will show your gear position. And then coming up here, you have a variety of different gauges you can choose from. I personally always leave mine on the boost gauge. However, you can go here, and this is to access the settings menu. You have your clock with the date. You have an MPG, a little gas efficiency gauge set. You have right there on the left what each wheel is doing. If you see here, I turn the wheel, it moves, and I'll show you what each wheel is doing. And on the right, you have your incline. Then you can go up another one, and you have more gas gauges, and then right back to boost. The climate control is incredibly simple. Just with one turn, it turns on the AC. I have it set to low, and then I'll go back to your gauges. Right here's volume adjustment. You can have your auto setting. If you'd like to change the mode of where it's blowing out of, you would do it here, and it will change it on the screen to whatever you like. And to turn it all off, you just hit that, and you're good to go. As well, having this leather-wrapped bezel cover was an option for older models, and it now comes standard on all WRXs and STIs, which definitely we needed. The plastic top looks awful. So like any other Subaru, it does come from the factory with a vape. Looks like I touched my exhaust pipe a little bit here, but it's fine. So you get a vape from Subaru when you purchase the car, as well as a charger for said vape. So with the STI shifter, you get a lot shorter throw. One complaint I had for the previous years was the shifter did not feel good. It felt like the linkage was made out of plastic, and I was not a fan. And the STI shifter in this model makes it feel a lot better. This right here is my seating position as a 6'2", pretty tall dude. Everything is lined up. I'm in my proper seating position, and I have loads of room over my head. I have loads of room left and right. I'm a pretty slender dude, but I mean, you got a lot of room in here. Basically, big dudes fit. There's nothing too special happening in the back seats, but you got plenty of room, and they're pretty comfortable to sit on, so that's a plus. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take you guys on a drive and just talk about how the car feels and how it drives. Okay, so all in all, when you're at lower RPMs with just this muffler delete, the car is relatively quiet. I have all the windows down right now, so I can hear the car and I can feel the breeze. It feels great outside here in sunny Southern California. The transmission is smooth. My previous Subaru had a 5-speed, and having the 6-speed is very nice. I enjoy it a lot. A lot of people, and even including myself, felt like the 6-speed would be just me shifting more. And it isn't that at all. It's a lot better. You can go through the gears and feel the power of the car a lot more and have a lot more range. You aren't going to bog down or be at too high of an RPM as often. It still happens here and there, but it's definitely not as often as when you have the 5-speed. Right now, we're up in the Malibu Canyons, where you're really able to feel this car come to life and be able to drive it, the way it was meant to be driven. And I have no complaints as far as just handling goes. I've heard a lot of people say that these cars tend to understeer. There's a police officer right there writing people tickets. Need to go calm. Need to act calm. We don't want to encounter Mr. Police Officer. That's not good. That's not what we want to do here at all. All in all though, the shifter feels fantastic. I've driven multiple other of this generation Subarus, and by far mine, in my opinion, the shifter feels the best. I mean, to each their own. It is a feel thing and it is somewhat opinionated, but I do very much enjoy the way that this shifter on this transmission feels. As well, one thing that they did with 2020 specifically is these cars are very notorious for having rev hang issues from first to second gear, and they actually fixed that. There is still a bit of rev hang, which you're never really going to be able to totally get rid of with drive-by-wire, sadly, but it is greatly improved over the previous models. As far as in-car noise goes, the car isn't that loud from the inside, even with the exhaust on it. I'm sitting at 4,000 RPM just coasting down this hill, and it's not that loud. And even if I get on the gas a little bit, the only thing you're gonna hear are the pops. So as you guys can see here, it says the average odometer, that's for your trip, is 18.6. So for the past 3,906 miles, I have gotten an average of 18.5 miles per gallon. And let me tell you, I don't drive this thing like a grandma. That is really, really good. So, another thing, riding on a rough road like this car, compared to the STI, is incredibly comfortable. This car is more aimed to be a street car, whereas the STI is more aimed to be a track car. While some might say that's a bad thing on this car's end, some might say it's a good thing. Daily driving this for the past 6 months has honestly been the best daily driver I've ever had. And it's incredibly comfortable. It's quick enough to get around and do what you need to. It has excellent warranty. And all in all, I mean, going bumper to bumper, you really don't need to give it very much throttle to get the car rolling off of the clutch. So you really don't need to sit there and rev the engine out when you're in bumper to bumper to get it to move, stop and go. And it's really painless to drive it, and it's extremely comfortable. Other than the complaints I listed, this is honestly the perfect daily.